on. Let's get into the video. This is by Hello Yasin, by the way. Boom.
What's poppin', y'all? I really hope that I wouldn't have to talk about this again because I feel such a pain when I hear this individual talk. And that is Akash's wife, Jasleen, who I feel like the majority of us have found out about her against our will. Before that, we were just like, okay, yeah, you know, I had no idea what his wife even looked like. And I've watched Flagrant 2 a handful of times. I watched it more, I would say, I'd say 2022 probably was when I watched it most actively. Yeah, 2021, 2022. I don't think I really watched it after that. But I was like, okay, this is an entertaining show. Like, you hear about Akash's wife, but she's just kind of this person. It's like the wife of Andrew, right? Like Andrew Schultz, I know he has a wife, but you know, she's just like, or like Charlemagne, right? Like, you know, Charlemagne has a wife, or Snoop Dogg has a wife, but we don't see everything about her.
Somebody married Charlemagne to God? So you telling me there's gonna be baby little Charlemagnes running around here?
Now, she decides that she wants to be out there. And we've seen what's happened, which is her talking about getting cracked by everybody under the sun and just destroying that dude Akash Singh's reputation.
Whoa!
That Akash was winning. He had a 99. It was literally the Fortnite 99 kill lead situation, and the person just came back from 100 when it came to the Myron Gaines beef, because Akash had the easiest win. Like, you're against one of the most widely hated and controversial figures on the internet that people want to lose, and you ended up losing. And then what happens after this? Instead of shutting up, which is the best thing that she could have done, no, her chronically online self decides to drop another podcast episode, which was probably already recorded, but still, you should have shut it down. And I don't mean that kind.
Here's the thing I don't like. I mean, it may be a good thing, it may be a bad thing, but here's the thing I don't like about people. When people get famous, like, I'll use Steph Curry because he has a bad relationship with, well, I won't say bad relationship, but he has a horrible public relationship with his wife. Just because one of y'all is famous, don't mean just because you have like the easy go ahead bucket to go be famous, that don't mean you should. Because there's media training to it. Certain people work for that. Akash worked to get as famous as he did. Steph Curry worked to get as famous as he did. Same thing with what's her name? Serena Williams. She worked to become the best tennis player. We don't want to hear about your husband. We want to hear about your wives. We don't want to hear nothing about them. We don't care. We care about your talent, not them. And they need to understand that we don't care about you. Because without them, there will be no you. What you saying, B? You know what I'm saying? We don't want to hear nothing about nothing from you. Nothing about nothing. We don't hear nothing about nothing.
Kind of shut it down. Not that meme. Just like Pokemon did with the Hassan situation. Remember when she was like, oh, we're going to record a podcast this week? Yeah, they canceled all of that. So she should have done something like that. But no, she hops on and she makes it even worse. So we're going to go through a couple of clips here. And Akash himself even replied to this situation. And oh, dear God almighty.
Where the f has chivalry gone? Yeah, where has chivalry gone? Like,
the same place virginity went for women. That's where chivalry went.
Why do these men who make $60,000 a year talking about gold diggers? You don't have any gold.
By the way, $60,000 is good. You can get by with that. See, she being ridiculous. $60,000 is the average income, brother. What you talking about? And I work one of these type of jobs as average income. I live nice off of it. But people be tricking up enough. You know what tricking is? Them guys be tricking. Women be loving guys that work where I work at. Because you work with what you can get. You feel me? You just hit the gold mine. You just hit the lottery. So you think it's nothing. You feel me?
Dig. You don't have to worry. You don't even have to worry about it. It's like, bro, we're not even talking about you.
That's not true, because as long as a girl can get her phone bill paid, light bill paid, and rent paid, which isn't that much, they're all right. They ready to jump off the wagon. You feel me?
Because the guys that are actually in the 1% tax bracket, They want to do like the things that my husband and Nav are doing. They want to take
1%.
care of women. They don't want us to
How
be
many women
stressed.
can get
They
guys
want
in
to
the
be in our
1%?
divine. They want us to be in our divine feminine energy.
All right, we've already got now this lady. She is chronically online, and
She
this is
giving
the
me a
problem,
headache
right? She's
right
like what
now.
31, 32 years old right now, something. I think maybe 33 years old. She has TikTok brain, which is all she has is time. Akash is working. She has TikTok brain, where her feed is this identical if you took a 19-year-old girl's feed, because you see her talk. She's like, oh, divine feminine energy. She starts using these phrases. I'm going to point out a couple more of these as we go along. But I've seen, I had a friend who went through a similar situation to this. His girlfriend was like 29 years old or something.
That's a little
like
older now.
And the influencer that she looked up to the most was this girl named Alex Earl. And this Alex Earl girl was like 20 or 19 even at the time. I don't even
know. And that's the thing. Look, I'm going to say something. I hate to keep pausing it because somebody going to complain about it. That's the thing. When you're older, why you looking up the younger cats? You supposed to be the big dog. Why you looking up to somebody younger than you? Why? Where I'm from, we look up, well, we used to. It ain't like that no more. We look up to the OGs that can teach us something. The cats that don't been through it all, been shot at, sold drugs, went to jail. We don't look up to the YNs that just shoot up people, ain't never suffer no consequences, because they don't know nothing about nothing. Like I just said, they don't know nothing about nothing. As soon as they get locked up, they switch up. They hard until they get in that prison. And they ain't got no switchy. So with that being said, why as a woman, why are you looking up to something that you no longer are? You're no longer at the top of the quote-unquote dating food chain, being 20, very fertile, at your peak beauty. You're no longer there. Why are you looking up to a woman like this?
No, I'm like, yo, this is like, I thought there was supposed to be like a maturing going on, and she would use the same terminology as the 19-year-old TikTok girls, and she was dead serious, and she would behave like them too. It's not like she had planning or anything, and she didn't really have much of a career either. She kind of just had the job that she had was the same job that a 19 or 20-year-old girl could get.
A barista.
To, make that
Shorty's a barista.
A little bit clear, because she did have a job, unlike Jasleen here. But we got to go on to the next clip, because first off, before we go on to the next clip, you see how she suddenly made this about like gold digging, when not a single soul under the sun has been laughing at Akash because his wife is a quote gold digger. That has not been the premise of the situation whatsoever. But we'll get into that in a second. So I'm gonna play you guys the second clip right now.
Investing in your wife is the biggest ROI that you'll ever have. Investing in your wife is not a financial burden, because when you treat your wife like a princess or a queen, you spoil her, you give her stuff, you just let her be able to relax.
I hate that I did this video because I'm going to keep pausing it, and I apologize, y'all. I'm so sorry. You treat your wife like a queen because she acts like a queen. If your wife is a queen, she don't respond to every peasant on the internet. That's what a queen does. Everybody want to be a queen with no empire.
She gets into this divine feminine energy, this divine feminine aura. In return, she starts taking care of you in a much better way. She's so emotionally supportive of you, because women are so strong in their EQ and how they can take care of men and like really comfort them on this level that they, really haven't gotten since they were with their moms, and not mothering them, but just like giving them that emotional support. And that energy gets rewarded in the universe. It starts coming back to you. And I can say I'm like a case in point example. Like, even before my husband really started making money, he always would find little ways to spoil me, even if it didn't cost that much in the beginning. And now, like, we've gone from like him buying me like AirPods or like Nike shoes to now
AirPods are $200, lady. That's a light bill. Would you buy him?
Like, spending so much money at Miu Miu or Cartier or whatever. And I'm not saying that to be braggy. I'm saying that I've seen this principle like really, really work. And I truly believe that like a man that takes care of his wife is like blessed by the universe. He's a real man that is a real provider, that like I keep bringing up spirituality into this, but I feel like that's what God-fearing men do, like true alphas.
The amount of terminology, that another terminally online
Bunch of
terminology, we've got
keywords.
divine feminine aura, we've
Alpha,
got taking
feminine,
care of you, we've
keywords,
got the
universe,
greatest investment, emotionally supportive,
cosmos,
EQ, one of the most incorrectly used words
divinity,
ever, EQ, and then it's like, yeah, you know,
abracadabra.
that they haven't experienced since they were with their mother, and then this is where she catches herself in the terminally
I'm good,
online
Frosty.
sphere that she's in, which is, oh no, wait, you're supposed to say you're not supposed to
She's
mother your
stressing
man,
me
but
out.
not in a
Look,
mothering
hey,
way.
this chick stressing me out. She's not my woman. I don't even want to know her. I don't want to meet her. I don't want to shake hands with her. I want to be in the same room. I don't breathe the same oxygen as this woman.
And this is the thing. If she's talking about the great, and this is what Akash has done. Akash has spoiled this woman. She has not worked ever. She does whatever she wants. He buys her whatever she wants. She has a giant closet. He takes her on vacations. He does anything under the sun. He even lets her start a podcast because she is so bored, right? Like she has so much
This is the thing.
luxury. She has to.
Yeah. Here's what work does for you, though. She does nothing but a podcast, bro. But she's talking as someone who's never worked. And if you work for 2-3 years. What's working 2-3 years? You don't know nothing about work. Work gives you principles. Work gives you morality, morals about things. It gives you a schedule. It gives you, you know what I'm saying, responsibility. You don't know nothing to tell nobody nothing. You're like a kid that's been taken care of by your parents your entire life. What do you know about taxes? What do you know about insurance? What do you know about anything? What do you know about credit cards? You don't know nothing about nothing because you just max out his. You don't know how to make money because you're spending his.
To start a podcast. It's kind of like when you've got so much wealth, like these people in like Gulf countries, and then they're like, yo, let's just build a city, bro. Like, let's just do that for fun. Let's see what that's like. Or let's just buy a whole like gaming organization. Like, didn't they do that? Didn't like they're like, let's just start a global tournament just because we like it. Or like, let's just buy, let's buy EA. Like one of those, who was it that bought EA? One of these like royal princes. Like that's what she's doing. She's like, let me just start a podcast. Hell, what could go wrong? A lot could go wrong. And this is the thing. So he's done all of the things that she said. And then the greatest investment. So if the ROI for being such a great individual or a great man, right? Like investing into his woman is what Akash Singh is getting, then number one, I'm just a boy. And number two is just club me upside the head so I knock out, wake me up with smelling salts, and I'm laying on a table, saran wrap, and I look up and it's Dexter's facial hair looking at me before I get sent up to God. Because I would rather that outcome than whatever the hell because that's the return on investment it seems like he's getting. He got a ruined career. Like what support are we talking about here? Like what investment? This was the worst ROI that you could have probably imagined. She's talking about like, yeah, you know, this guy was spoiling me since forever. Even when he didn't have it like that, he would just give me everything that he could. And you know, it's coming back to him right now. Yeah, it's coming back to bite him in the behind.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that also work teaches you. You see how hard it is to make just such a small amount of money? Because if you're working, say you're making like $20 an hour, $30 an hour, you work an hour to make just that small amount of money. So you're not too quick to just dish it out on stupid stuff. There's some people that do because they're very wild people. They're wild with their finances. Their budget is insane. But it gives you to like some kind of responsibility for your money, and you know how money really works. It's hard to make money. It's very easy to spend it. I can spend my check in one day. But it takes me 2 weeks to make it. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that she's missing. She hasn't worked and seen, okay, this money is actually worth my sweat, my time, and my tears. So let me be a little more careful with it. Let me be a little more gracious with it.
And now she's like, yeah, you know, now we're
I'm from
getting
South Carolina,
Moo
brother.
and Cartier. Like, oh my goodness. When did Moo Become a thing? Or like one of the
I don't
biggest
even know
things?
what that is.
Because I feel like it was always a brand, but it was never one of like the top brands. But hey, listen, maybe I'm not on TikTok enough to
We ain't got no money like
realize that it's so lit.
Just say
she
it,
said
boy.
He's blessed by the universe. Man, he's cursed by the universe. And then she moves on and is
Bro's
like,
cursed
oh, yeah,
by the cosmos.
you know, that's what a true God-fearing man does, which is like, I don't know about that.
What does a God-fearing woman do then? What does a God-fearing woman do? How do they, you know what I'm talking about.
religion is very, very different from Western religions, or even like, you've got the Abrahamic faiths, and then you've got what they are, which is very different in terms of even culturally. What she's talking about doesn't really hold up, but hey, we don't need to go there. But then she gets into the second part, which is just bizarre when she starts talking about dogs. I'm gonna play you guys that clip right now.
And so, like, when I was training my dog, this is no joke. I read this dog training book.
You
And
comparison
it
your
says
husband
in
to a
the
dog?
book, like, the true alpha of the pack is not the dog that barks all the time, is super defensive, insecure. Like, those are the red pill guys.
How do you
The
know?
true alpha of the pack is the calm one,
The quiet.
the like leads with dignity
Okay, yeah,
and
that's
this
true.
like stature and this grace. And let's face it, men are like dogs, like, so it's like
Yeah.
the analogy fits.
If the shoe.
No, so I was gonna.
I'm not gonna say nothing because I ain't really got no dog in this fight. But if a man compared a woman to an animal, he'd be canceled. So I'm not gonna do it.
Gonna say the same thing about Akash. Like, I think the happy wife, happy life is more just like
Yeah, I'm from America, brother.
women
USA.
are so in tune with their emotions. We go through like week over week fluctuation. So one, we can't always be on it every week like how men can. And number two, it's like we give them like this kind of comfort and emotional support and stability that they wouldn't be able to get otherwise. You know what I mean? It's like how they say, like, behind every great man, what do they say?
Behind every great man is a successful woman.
No,
No,
behind
no,
every
no,
successful
no.
man
Nobody's
is
ever
a
heard
woman.
that. Nobody's ever
Wait,
heard
what
that.
is it?
What's the saying? Is a great woman.
Oh.
That was
look at
anticlimactic.
And keep in mind, one of the most important things is when she mentions, oh yeah, when I was training my dog, not our dog, because whatever her dog lives in that guy's crib. So it's at my dog when I was training my dog. Keep in
All
mind,
right.
Akash is always talking about we, our, me and my wife. Her, it's just me, my, or
Me,
like
me,
what
me,
he
me,
does
me,
for
me,
me.
me.
And then she's talking about like, yeah, guys are like dogs, which of course, if Akash was talking like that, well, Akash would actually berate somebody that would be talking like that. And you'd be like, yeah, that's lame. That's corny. Why are you talking like that? And, but his wife talking like that about him, sure. But I'm not going to disagree with her. Yeah, dudes are dogs. And there's different breeds of dogs. There's pit bulls, there's Dobermans, there's German Shepherds, there's Rottweilers.
I'm a
and
German
then
Shepherd.
There are Dachshunds, and, there are Chihuahuas, and there are
That's
toy
Akash.
dogs.
What's the name,
And
Akash?
Akash falls onto, the second group of dogs.
toy
That
dogs.
is for sure. And then to top it all off, at the end of this, she says one of the worst quotes that gets that used to be used in historical context, which is, and she butchered the quote too. It's behind every great man or behind every successful man is a woman, or like a good woman or something like that.
Yeah.
Behind every success, and they're just saying like, oh yeah,
Behind
you're more
every
successful if
successful
you're
man
married,
is a
blah blah blah,
great
all this
woman.
other stuff. Well, honestly, if we have to take that saying and bring it to the modern day, we should really bring it and say behind every successful man's downfall is a woman. Because
Yeah.
what has Akash's downfall been?
Listen, I was telling somebody this. If a man can learn, not like pushing him towards like being homosexual or nothing, but if he can control his lust for women, he's untouchable. He's untouchable. And if Akash didn't have this little blemish on his record right here, undefeated, cuz.
Other than his wife, she
50 and
has
0.
absolutely
Floyd Money Mayweather.
wrecked and destroyed him. How many of these rappers, etc., celebrity? Oh, another man's downfall, which is different situation. Shannon Sharp, his downfall was
I don't know if he's from India, but he's definitely Indian. I'm pretty sure.
a woman that destroyed him. Not even a woman. It was like a 19, 20, 21-year-old
A little girl.
chick that came up off of him. Big Boss Zuniga. We got to report. I'm calling her by what she identifies as. I respect that. So Big Boss Zuniga took him to
You're
the
not a
cleaners.
boss, ma'am. You're not a boss. You get money for men's addictions, buddy. You're not a boss. You're like a dope dealer. More like a dope dealer, Do your thing, shorty. You won't get $1 out of me.
Now he's still surviving, or he's still doing well, but we know what happened. He paid out what 10, 20, 30 M's. So she came off of
Jesus
that. So yeah,
Christ.
behind every successful man's downfall, that's
Yeah,
in
he's
the
probably
modern day,
Indian. He's probably
is
from
a
India.
woman, and it is by their own choosing most of the time. Like Akash, he chose her. Shannon Sharp, he chose her. It's not like
Yeah.
some chick just came out randomly and just ruined his life. But here, this was a whole nothing burger because the whole thing that everybody was talking about is, Akash, you're lecturing all these people.
And it sucks because she's a very beautiful she's a very beautiful young lady. She's very beautiful. It's just what comes out of her mouth is septic. It's like a septic tank, what's in her mouth. Her ideology is septic. And it knocks her from a good 9 down to like a 6.5. Not even gonna lie to you. I will never look twice at a woman once I know she talks like that. Not even gonna lie to you.
Saying your chick was a virgin and these guys don't know, they just need to get married and all this other stuff. So there was no gold digging conversation had. So what does Akash do when he addresses this in a recent show? Oh, I'm gonna play you guys the clip right now, and this is full of cap.
Talking about, again, I don't think these narratives, people calling your wife a gold digger and all these other things, it's a thing. So I'm going to tell one story that I have never even told her. Honestly, she has no idea of this story. My wife and I met in...
Yes, she does have an idea of the story if she was in it.
2014. I was not making much money. I was getting $25 a night doing stand-up. I was on MTV shows that paid dog money. If she was a gold digger, I didn't even have 10 to get to be honest. But then in 2018, I went flat broke. 34 years old, I probably made $4,000 that entire year. And we couldn't even afford the living room we lived in New York City. We had to move out of that apartment and move to New Jersey. And what's even sadder than moving to New Jersey is I had to save up money to move to New Jersey. So we had to stay on her friend's couch for almost a month. We were basically homeless for a month. So I could save money to move to New Jersey. And I remember the night before...
Why did he say we could save money? Was she still not working then, even though they were struggling? That is very selfish of her.
Couch. We had to stay in our apartment illegally. We were supposed to have been out by like 12 p.m. We moved everything out, but we didn't have a place to stay, so we had to stay there that night. It was just me and her sleeping on a hardwood floor. I'm 34 years old. She's 25 years old. I'm looking at this girl like, man, you could go be with an Indian who's a doctor, like a real Indian.
Oh, he is Indian.
You have so much ahead of you. Me, I don't know what my life is going to be. I'm 34. I'm broke. This dream might not ever happen, but I'm too on it to quit. And I have nothing to give her. It's just a light jacket. It's like October. We have nothing. So I hand her the jacket, and then she said, "What's this for?" I said, "You can use that as a pillow." And then she goes, "Well, what are you going to use?" And I said, "I'll figure it out." She handed me back the jacket. She goes, "You take this." And then she laid with her head on my chest and her arm around me the entire night. And I remember thinking in that moment, this is why I haven't shared this with her, because I remember thinking, I don't know if I'm going to be able to marry this girl because I'm so broke and I'm in such a bad place and it's a dark time in my life. But I know I will never find a girl that loves me this much ever again. And I will never find a girl who rides for me this hard ever again.
So
W story.
He's like, oh yeah,
hey,
they're calling her a
W story, but she invested. Let me tell you why. She had a plan to get out. You just never saw it because she didn't need to use it. But she had a plan to get out. If everything didn't work, she gave you a set amount of time to make something happen, and you made it happen. She had a plan to get out though. She did, because she wasn't even making her own money. She had a plan to like, yeah, I'm out to get up out of here. But she invested, bro, and now she's reaping the benefits of it.
A gold digger and a a garden tool.
She had you red shirted.
Some people were calling her a garden tool. We are calling her not being described what she told you and what you told everybody else. But him trying to pretend like she met him at a show where he was on MTV and he's like, hey, he didn't make that much money. Nobody was talking about being a gold digger. That's the thing.
No, but
this
look,
guy's
here's the
deflecting.
thing. No. Here's the thing. You're on MTV, buddy. So people already see like, oh, you gonna beat something. You on MTV. That's like me being at like Streamer University. It's somewhere though. You get what I'm saying? You already, okay, you were good enough to get to this. So there's potential. She saw that potential too. Just because you weren't making no money. Sometimes you don't make money. It'd be a long time before you start making money in anything, dog. For real.
That's not the point. But he tries to make it a point. But acting like, this is the thing. In her mind, she's like, oh, MTV, he's lit. She's not thinking, oh, he's making a crazy bag. And she might think he's making a crazy bag because some people think TV equals money. A lot of people did, especially back then as well. So that doesn't change that fact. But anyway, to continue, he talks about going broke in 2018 and he made $4K in a year. And sure, yeah. And then he talks about moving to Jersey, right? And then the funniest part is pretending to be like homeless. And this is so funny. Slept on people's couch, right? What happened was they were in between moving to a different place and they stayed with a friend. But he's like, hey, you know, we were practically homeless. Dog, let's be real here. If you are in a major city in the U.S., we're not talking in another country. When have you seen an Indian homeless person? I'll wait, right? You haven't. That's the truth.
You right
have
about
not
it.
seen any of them. And on top of that, Indians love to flex, and even other people report that Indian Americans, I mean, think like average median household income, they do the best. They make the most.
Yeah.
So they're quite successful in America. So the real situation here is that regardless of this story that he's trying to paint of, yeah, you know, like I was so down bad, dog, they could have moved back to his parents' crib whenever they wanted. His parents were there. They were just like, hey, you're messing up. You're not becoming an engineer or a doctor, and you're not giving us the prestige that we desire as, you know, culturally speaking. But if he was like, hey, I'm about to be outside, I need to come stay with y'all, they're not saying, oh, no, you're going to be homeless. No, they're saying, okay, come back, son. And they're going to scold him and probably annoy him and tell him that, hey,
make him
decided to pursue
go
this,
and listen
not
school.
corny, but this goofy career when you should have taken the safe path that, you know, that your cousins did or something like that. So there was no, we're not going to play this whole like, yo, I was dirt poor, I was going to be broke. Like, yeah, your income was down, but you had no threat of being out in the streets ever. And he's trying to paint that. And then also, this tells you a lot about Akash and why he is never, ever leaving this chick. He says he's looking at her like, man, you know, you could be with a guy that's a doctor or something. So what you can tell from Akash here is that this guy doesn't have it. Like, he doesn't think that he's that guy. He doesn't. Because I know that you know people that you're like, damn, this guy doesn't got a dollar to his name, and he feels entitled to anything. Like, bro, how many rappers do we know that was bumming off a chick before they got on? They had a baby mama. She was financing their career, and she probably had like a good job too. And do you think that he was like, man, you know, she could be with somebody that's lit? Nah, he's like, I'm gonna be that guy that's lit. I'm him. And then they leave the baby mama or whatever girlfriend they had at the time. So Akash here deeply, deeply does not feel good enough, at least at this point in time. Do I think that has changed? Maybe outwardly. And then he tries to give this heartwarming story. And I will say, it is heartwarming if you are green, if you don't understand the actual truth of the matter, and if you suddenly forgot the second part, which was what people were actually calling her, which I don't necessarily think that she's a garden tool. I won't throw that on her name, but explain to us why your wife talks about you in a manner that you would never talk about her. Why she embarrasses you. Why she talks about desiring her
that's insane,
best
bro.
friend's man. Why she fantasizes about that. Like, just the way that she talks about him is worse than if she had cheated on him, to be honest. It's just humiliating. And she knows that he is a public figure. And then she keeps doubling down on it. So they tried to deflect. There was some gaslighting here, which is like they're addressing gold digging, which nobody's talking about. We don't care about that. Now, Matt, do you ever think Akash would be talking about like, man, you know, not like somebody else's wife and like, yeah, I really want that? When have we? All he talks about is his own wife. Yeah. And how she's like some
bro's a
deity
buster.
That should be worshipped, and how much he worships her.
Not saying it's bad.
Oh, Lord,
not saying it's bad to like be like adore your wife, but
there was some gaslighting.
He's obviously a sucker though. Like, he's obviously a sucker. I'm just saying, like, come on, dog. You but like, relax. We understand it's your wife, but relax.
It's like they're addressing gold digging, which nobody's talking about. We don't care about that. Now, Matt, do you ever think Akash would be talking about like, man, you know, not like somebody else's wife and like, yeah, I really want that. When have we? All he talks about is his own wife.
Yep.
And how she's like
That's
some
good too, though. That's
deity
good,
that
though.
should be worshipped and how much he worships
I
her
ain't
and how
worshiping
amazing
nobody,
she
though.
is. And then when we see what she is, we're like, damn. So what's the deal? Because he was flexing it too. And they were like, yo, you really believe your wife's a virgin? He's like, yeah, I know
That's a
it's hard
big
to
old
believe.
stone
But
on her
yeah,
hand.
trust me, I got it. You ain't got
Shorty
nothing.
got a
You got
Thanos
fooled. That's what
Infinity Stone on her finger.
you got. And her talking about, yeah,
She
you
got
know
the
my
soul
behind. She
stone.
hasn't come out and said, no, you guys don't understand. Like, I was just like hanging out with guys and that those were just stories for comedy. She hasn't done any of that. She's just not just let it fester. She's flexed how lit she's gotten. So clearly she wasn't lying about the stuff that she said on camera. So we are to believe that she lied to Akash. And the detail of these stories and the way that she's able to bring them up, it's for sure from her past. And it's just getting worse. It's getting worse for Akash. And frankly, I'm not saying I enjoy Akash's downfall because I don't dislike the guy.
I don't even
but
know the guy like that.
he needs this. This guy is someone that is arrogant, delusional. Akash is a 41-year-old version of your 17-year-old homie in your junior year of high school when you're like, bro, your girl was getting ran through by Brandon from the hockey team 2 weeks ago. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean she's trying to act like she's all innocent? And he's like, nah, man, you don't understand. Like, they're just trying to put dirt on her name. And you're like, all right, bet. And then within like 3 months, something happens or she just dumps him and goes on. And then he's like, damn, that's crazy. And then, you accept him back and, he moves on and he learns his lesson at 17. Akash, he's 41. So this lesson, I don't think this lesson can cement. And it's because, at 17, what do the girlies say now? Like, your prefrontal cortex isn't developed yet. So they can still learn. This guy, it's cemented. Akash, he's 41. I mean, he's about to start degenerating, right? Early onset Alzheimer's. Nah, I don't wish that for him. It's such a heartbreaking, like dementia and Alzheimer's are such heartbreaking diseases.
Why'd you joke
but you
about
guys
it
get
then,
my
brother?
point. Like his mind, it will break if he has to look at her differently. But I do think he's breaking now because his career is falling right in front of him. Because I can't think of a situation where you can spin this, especially as a comedian. And this guy's not an S-tier comedian. He's not an A-tier comedian. What is he? My comedy enthusiast here. Is this guy even B-tier? C-tier? What's the deal? Like, how does he rank with like a Shane Gillis or any of these other guys? But for a situation where, for example, like Chris Rock gets slapped by
He
Will
making
Smith,
money, though.
Yeah, he got slapped.
Because for her to be spending money like that, he making some bread now. Let's not get it twisted.
But you can make fun of that. You can make a joke out of that. That's not Chris Rock's wife humiliating him. Even a Jada Smith, she would talk about Tupac like crazy, but she always says that Tupac never cracked. But right, anyway, there's a Tupac thing, and then she says she had an entanglement.
Her hair looks crazy. Her hair looks crazy on this book.
As bad as Jada Pinkett Smith is, she wasn't talking about like, yeah, I was popping it, and he was doing his thing. I had to get after it. I had to go for some young blood. Like, she wasn't talking as gruesome as this chick is talking. I don't know who's worse. I can't think of somebody who's worse. And then and Jada Smith was never painted as, some precious, like golden, like purity, like example, as Akash was painting his wife. Like, Akash was painting his wife like, my wife is better than all y'all other wives. Out there. I got a diamond in the rough. No, you just got something else in the rough.
You got something that's rough.
Like,
you ain't got no diamond in the rough. You got the rough.
Everybody else. But let me know what y'all think about this. How can somebody recover from this?
Hey, W on that video. Thank you, hello. Y'all seen extras, man. I apologize. I messed up and I botched the beginning of this video, but it is what it is. Life happens, brother. But I'm going to post this on my YouTube. Let me know. Thumbs up. What y'all think? You think she a gold digger or she really solid, bro? Let me know in the comment. You think she just now getting like feeling what the fame feel like doing her podcast and stuff. So she just making little small mistakes. She really do love him. Let me know in the bottom. But till next time, it's been your boy Rado Rizzo. And I will see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.